Today we'll be going through an action movie titled Overdrive. A rare gem of a car was auctioned and people bid anxiously to get the glamorous 1937 Bugatti car. From bidding of $30 million, the car was later purchased for $41 million by Frank. Two half-brothers whose names are Andrew and Garrett Foster can be in the next scene. After sighting a car from afar, they got ready to carry out their stealing job. Being a pro thief, Andrew firmly fixed a chain to his leg while Garrett skillfully drove the car. When Andrew noticed that the truck was close to his reach, he flung himself on it and tried to firmly hold onto the car. Frank noticed the two brothers' action, so he shouted at the driver to kick both brothers out. Garrett tried to hook their car with the truck, and he climbed the truck to help his brother. He as well disconnected cables, and before Frank could reach them, they opened the truck and swiftly drove the rich 1937 Bugatti car. Frank didn't relent on his attempt to kill them, but suddenly the truck stumbled over, causing a fatal accident, and both brothers successfully stole the car. At night, while flexing at the club, Andrew's girlfriend Stephanie came over and she warmly greeted Garrett, but she slapped her boyfriend. She then accused him of not taking her along in their task, but later they settled their argument. The next day, they delivered the car to Mr. Panahi in exchange for money, but the man wants to betray them because they'd stolen a dangerous man's car. The brothers fought with his gang and were later captured and covered with a mask, but just then, Frank entered the secret room with a gun, so Mr. Panahi begged him and handed over the brothers to him, who woke up and saw that they had been tied to an edge that they can easily fall from. And they saw Frank's boss scare them with a gun he was holding, but later shot it at his man. The brothers were scared and they were untied. Then he took them to his warehouse, a place he saved all his cars. And the brothers were surprised when they saw the league of cars he had in his possession. Only then did they recognize who they had stolen from, Giacomo Morier, a dangerous man that shouldn't be played with. To save their lives, they bribed him that they would help him to steal the favorite car of Max Klemp, a more dangerous man who at the very young age excelled academically than his peers and took over his dad's company, who then awarded him the 1962 Ferrari car that's worth over $38 million. Because he and Max Klemp aren't on good terms, he agreed to their deal and gave them a week to successfully carry out the operation. But when the brothers were released, they had an argument on their way home. So Andrew told Garrett that he was tired of their theft job and that after successfully carrying out the Morier operation, he would stop stealing. When Stephanie learned of the new job, she was scared but agreed to help them out. And to do that, they need more people to help them out. She took them to meet a professional thief by the name of Devin. She showed them how skillful she was by stealing from two policemen, and they weren't aware until after a while. Next, they went to meet Leon in a small apartment, and he's known for accurately blowing things off. To test his skill, he successfully blew up a safe without harming the pastries inside. And this made Andrew take him into the group. Also, they took in 5 more skilled drivers, and Garrett negotiated their pay to $5 grand before they agreed. But unknowing to them, 2 men were watching them earnestly. After the day's activity, they went home, but they'd noticed a person had already broken into their house, and it was Laurent, Giacomo's cousin. His uncle had told him to go over and spy on what the brothers were planning to do, so they wouldn't betray him. The group then thought of a way to first meet Max, so Laurent helped them out by taking them to Kun, one of Max's most trusted men. But before they could reach Max, Kun asked to see their race skill and Garrett skillfully displayed them to the man. But yet he wasn't pleased, so he pointed at a plane about to take off and told them to use their car to prevent the plane from taking off. Scared of the dangerous task he gave them, Kun wanted to leave the car, but Andrew locked him in and speedily took off. He and Garrett skillfully maneuvered the car while the police chased after them. To destroy the plane, Garrett opened the top of his car, drove fast to the plane before the pilot could take off, and forcefully pulled out a part of the plane seconds later. The airplane got engulfed in fire. After seeing how skilled they were, Kun then told them that he had already given them an introduction to Max because the plane belongs to Max, so he would be eager to see them. Later, they went to Max's building, but the 2 men kept tailing them, and when they saw Max, they met him nailing a person to death, and he told them that he can't stand the weak. Garrett explained that they can't assist him to get any kind of car that he wants, but Max said that he doesn't care how skillful they are. The people he's on the lookout for are people that he can trust. Before leaving, Laurent was too eager to see Max's car, so he told the man that he was a car enthusiast. Then Max walked up to him and made him know that he isn't a fool and he recognizes him to be Giacomo's cousin, but Laurent quickly saved his life by faking a lie about how much he greatly hated his uncle, so Max took them to see his fleet of cars for a while. Because of the way he acted after leaving Max's building, Andrew showed his displeasure and called him a liability to the group angrily. When they got to their secret house, they saw the two men had located their house and they were policemen. So they warned the brothers not to try anything illegal anymore because they have heard of several of their theft business, and the brothers acted calm and allowed them to leave peacefully. But then they warned Laurent not to allow his brother to be aware of what was going on. The next day, while Stephanie was at the market, Frank kidnapped her even though she tried to escape from his reach. And when the brothers got to learn of this, they angrily stormed Mornier's house. And they saw Stephanie tied and a rolling car was placed over her, which could massacre her face if moved down a little bit. But all of this that Hakomo did was to threaten both brothers when he learned that they aren't planning to steal Max's car from his cousin. Andrew was filled with anger that he wasn't able to control himself anymore, but Garrett helped him to stay calm. The next day, the whole group met Hakomo at a deserted place, so they told him about the plan they made so far. But while discussing it, Max's airplane landed at the site and he came out. He told Hakomo that since he saw his cousin, he knew that he was up to something. He further provoked Hakomo by belittling him and telling him to try to learn from their past history. Before leaving, he warned the gang not to follow after Hakomo because he's always 10 steps ahead of him. Max's behavior greatly provoked Hakomo, so he told the guys that he would lead the operation and they would be carrying it out the next day. Andrew tried to warn him about the danger, but he was unyielding to their advice. Stephanie was held as hostage and a CCTV camera is being used to monitor her. While taking wine at a restaurant, the policemen came around again, and they vehemently warned the brothers and as well made Laurent know that they are aware that he was the dangerous businessman's cousin. So Laurent laughed and told them to be proud of their investigative skills. To deceive the men that they aren't with Laurent and his uncle anymore, Andrew told Laurent that they should act like Interpol stuff like they had fallen out. Then within the blink of an eye, he pushed Laurent to the floor and hit him to a pulp. Unknowing Laurent, all of his acting was a facade to get back at him because of Stephanie. The next day, Stephanie kept hitting the door and angrily, Laurent opened it, so she tried to cunningly win him over. But he pushed her off and told her that he can't fall for a little trick, and she mocked him for falling for Andrew's trick. This got him angry, so he pushed her to the floor, but later noticed that she was stolen from him and retrieved it. But little did he know that she had hidden the real pass. Hakomo drove to their meeting place and he told Frank that after the successful operation, he should kill them all. While Andrew reminded his group that they should act according to the plan, they all entered the new bus that Devon had stolen. Stephanie was able to escape from the room and she went into the room that controlled their security and hacked the system. While at the meeting ground, the two policemen came to arrest Hakomo, but later he discovered that they weren't real policemen, and the whole plan that had been devised was to lure him and steal all of his cars. So he swiftly drove back to his mansion. But it was too late because Stephanie had successfully carried out her part of the plan and the group had blown off his entrance door. The security men were received due to Stephanie's hacking and the group successfully entered the warehouse of Hakomo's fleet of cars. Then they stole all the cars kept and successfully drove out of the building with Leon blowing up the exit door so they wouldn't be able to chase them. Hakomo learned of their deed, so he angrily chased after the group, but during the chase, Andrew tried searching for something. Then Stephanie brought out the ring he had ridden. He stopped the car and asked for consent to marry him, and she agreed. Then he drove off to escape Hakomo and his cousin. At a point, the group split ways and Hakomo hotly chased after Andrew while Laurent chased after Garrett. But then a large truck crushed Laurent's car and it immediately exploded. Hakomo kept chasing the brothers and they happened to pass through a cliff. After Garrett had passed, Leon dropped a bomb making the cliff explode, but Andrew was still behind with Hakomo. Andrew then took a risk by speedily passing on the damaged cliff, thereby leaving Hakomo behind. Later, Hakomo caught up to the two brothers and didn't relent in his attempt to kill them. Then suddenly, a large truck came out of nowhere and hit Hakomo's car, and this caused the car to explode and crash into a nearby river. They got all the cars arranged nicely on a sailing boat and shaped hands with a fake policeman. Max came out to meet them, so Andrew gave him the cars that they'd stolen for him. It was then realized that all from the beginning of going over to meet Max was an act to deceive Laurent. Max praised Andrew's bravery, and he also thanked Max for playing along all the while. Days later, he awarded Garrett the job with Max's favorite car that he had bought for him. Just then, Stephanie told him about the luxury 5.3 Sierra Coupe, and they set off to claim the gem. The end. What do you think about this video? Kindly comment below and stay tuned to this channel for more interesting movie recap.